If you like to host game day parties, this is your solution. We have such a great idea for you today, and that is to make all your game day food ahead so that you can be the hostess with the mostest with way less effort.
You totally can. We have a huge list of things you can make today. You don't have to make every single one of them, but here's the thing. If you make them and get them into your freezer, you can have them for this party, you could have them for the next party, you could have it for the next game day, but we do know that there is a very big game coming up that you might want to get ready for now.
So we're going to start with some slider recipes. Now the great thing about these is that they come together so quickly, and Costco has a 2-pack of slider buns, so you can go and you can make multiples of these. They also have these trays if you want to make your life even easier and put them directly into foil trays so that all this needs to do on your game day is be tossed in the oven. You can visit with your guests, watch the game, pull them out. They'll be hot and amazing. This first one is so popular. Everyone who's tried this raves about it.
It really is.
This is our cheeseburger sliders. So to make these, all you're gonna do is take some ground beef that you've cooked up already, and you're gonna mix that in a bowl with some minced garlic, minced onion, Worcestershire sauce, salt, and pepper. In a small bowl, you're gonna mix together some mayo, ketchup, and mustard. Then you're gonna slice those buns lengthwise and set the bottom down in your foil tray. You're gonna spread both sides of the buns with that mayo mixture, and then you're gonna sprinkle the bottom half with some cheddar or Tex-Mex cheese. And then you're gonna spoon your ground beef mixture right over top of that cheese. Then, this is the fun part, you're gonna spread out a layer of sliced pickles to make this a really authentic cheeseburger-like experience. Then you're gonna sprinkle some more cheese on top of that and put the lid back on your buns. You want to brush the top of those with some melted butter, and then just to bring this over the top, you're going to sprinkle it with some everything bagel seasoning. You're going to put a layer of foil on this and get it into your freezer. When you want to make this, you thaw it and you bake it just until that cheese is ooey gooey, and you take it out. If you want, you can take the foil off for the last 5 minutes or so of cooking just to crisp up those tops a little bit. And then you can either slice these and serve them on a platter, or just put them out as is and have people pull them apart. This is such a great party recipe.
Do you know another variation? I was thinking when you were like, we could do cheddar or Tex-Mex. The other variation to make it like truly cheeseburger would be a slice of American cheese.
True.
Now in Canada we have Kraft singles, which is as close as we can get to a slice of American cheese as far as I understand. I'm not super familiar with American cheese, but just lay them out. I don't know how many it would take, like maybe not even a dozen, and just lay them out, and I think that would also bring the authenticity to your cheeseburger slider. And these are really great. Like, they're really, really good. Keeping on the slider train, these ham and cheese sliders are another crowd favorite. Again, super simple to make. And you know, since you went to Costco and got the double pack of the buns, you know, you just make a second set. You're going to cut your buns lengthwise in half, and you're going to add that bottom part to your tray. Then you're going to layer on it your ham. You can layer on your cheese. Now you can use Swiss or cheddar or maybe marble cheese. And then you're going to put the top layer back onto your buns and like close the lid, if you know what I mean. Then you're going to mix together some melted butter with a bit of mayonnaise, Dijon mustard, Worcestershire sauce, some poppy seeds, a little bit of honey, and some dried onion. Mix that together, and then you are going to drizzle that over these ham and cheese sliders, and then add your foil on top and get these in the freezer. When you go to cook them, same thing as the cheeseburger sliders, you're going to allow them to thaw and leave them covered with the foil on, get them into your oven at 350 for 20 minutes, and then the last little bit, you want to pull that lid off and allow them to crisp up a little bit. Man, the butter seasoning on this is, the topping is as good as the inside, is what I'm saying. Like, It is really, really good. People will love this. Now with the ham slices, if you are just cutting your own ham, sometimes it's like little different sizes. If you're using deli ham, which we are, you know, it's gonna be bigger than the bun. You're gonna probably definitely wanna cut these before you serve them. Don't worry, it'll still be ooey gooey good. It'll still be stringy and runny and cheesy and all the things. It'll just be easier to pull apart without losing your ham.
Continuing on the slider train, we've got our pizza sliders. Now, I find that those ham and cheese sliders are super popular with teens, and the pizza sliders are really popular with kids and adults, but
and everybody.
But they're a kid favorite for sure. So for this, you've got your slider buns again. You're gonna slice them lengthwise, put that bottom row of the buns in your tray. Then you're gonna sprinkle some mozzarella cheese onto those buns and spread some pizza sauce over the mozzarella. It's important that you put the cheese down first so that your buns don't get soggy. Then you're gonna put a layer of pepperoni slices on top of that pizza sauce. Then you're gonna do another layer of that mozzarella cheese and add your lid back onto your sliders. And then you're going to brush some melted butter on top of those. And here's where it gets really good. You're gonna sprinkle some Italian seasoning and grated Parmesan cheese on top of that, so that when you bake these, you're going to have the entire pizza experience in a little handheld fun pocket.
You totally are, and this is totally party ready.
Yes.
Like, I love sliders for just that reason, and I love Make Ahead because of that reason. And when you are having a party and you have a ton of people coming over, you need to make it as easy as possible. This is perfect game day food.
And if you're invited to game day at someone else's house, any one of these slider recipes would be so impressive to bring with you.
Now, this next recipe is our buffalo chicken dip. Everybody has their own version of buffalo chicken dip. My niece was telling me at Christmas that her friend group ranks their buffalo chicken dip, and they decided that their future friendships will be based on how good the buffalo chicken dip is that they bring to the relationship. Now, if we were judging on that, we would be friends with everybody because this is so good. It is so good. And she was like telling me about this while she's eating it, and she's like, you could be my friend. And I'm like, yes, I could.
Now, we have a secret to ours, and it was kind of an accidental secret. And that is that I have a celery allergy. So Christy's original recipe had celery in it. And
we had to change it.
We didn't want to miss the crunch, so she came up with the brilliant idea to use water chestnuts in place of the celery. And honestly, people prefer this to the celery like 10 times out of 10. It's
really just that much better with that little bit of crunch. And over the years, I have sometimes gone back and made it with the celery, and the celery doesn't give all that much crunch anyway, because it does soften when you cook it. The water chestnut does not lose its crunch, and so it has definitely become our preferred way of eating it. Well, Charlotte's especially, of course.
Of course.
But that's what we have here today for you. So here is the recipe. Write this down. No, I'm joking. The link is in the description below. We're going to start with our cooked cubed chicken. We like it cubed instead of shredded. I don't know why, it's just a texture thing, but you go ahead and do shredded if that's what you want. Then you're going to add in your cream cheese, your ranch dressing, and your hot sauce. You're gonna mix it around, and then you're going to add in your chopped water chestnuts and some shredded cheddar. Mix that around, and then you're going to spoon it into your bag, or you can spoon it directly into your foil trays. Get all that excess air out of the bag. When it comes to freezer meals, air is the enemy, and we want to get rid of all that excess air as much as you can out of the bag, because that's going to preserve it the longest in your freezer, and you won't get, freezer burn as fast. I mean, this isn't going to stay in your freezer long. Let's be honest here. You're going to eat it sooner than later. But I'm telling you, get rid of the excess air. That's the best plan here. When you go to cook this, you're going to allow it to thaw, transfer it into like a little casserole dish. Actually, it's a meal. You're going to transfer this into a casserole dish, throw it in your oven until it's hot and bubbly.
Or you can do it in your slow cooker.
You can totally do it in your slow cooker, and then serve it with like what? Your sourdough, your taco chips, whatever you normally like to serve your dips with. It goes really nice with like the spinach dip kind of idea.
When you're doing any kind of freezer cooking, it saves even more time and money if you use similar ingredients in multiple recipes, and or you double, triple, quadruple your recipes as you go so that you're using those ingredients as much as you possibly can. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some of the ingredients that we just used in the buffalo chicken dip, and we're gonna throw together some buffalo chicken quesadillas. Now for this, you can use shredded chicken or cubed chicken. So if you wanted to, you could just set aside some of that cubed chicken from your buffalo chicken dip and mix it together with some of the Frank's Red Hot sauce, and you'd be ready to go. Or if you had some rotisserie chicken or cooked chicken that you wanted to shred up and use, that would work too. You can't really mess this one up. It is a super simple recipe. So you're going to mix together your shredded chicken or your cooked cube chicken with that Frank's Red Hot sauce. Then on some flour tortillas, you're gonna sprinkle some shredded cheese, some of that chicken, diced red pepper, diced onion, and jalapeno slices. Then you're gonna fold over the other half of that tortilla to close it. You wanna have these in a single layer on a baking sheet so that you can freeze them just like this on the baking sheet, and then transfer them into your freezer bag when they're fully frozen. That way they won't stick together. So for these, you can take them out one at a time and cook them in a skillet or in your air fryer, or if you're feeding a crowd, you can take out a whole bunch and put them on baking sheets and get them cooked in your oven. These are so great served with some salsa, some guacamole, some sour cream, and they would go really nicely with you setting these out with some sliders and some buffalo chicken dip.
Like, are you seeing the picture we're painting for you here? The next recipe is another quesadilla recipe. Now, you could do it as an option, or you could do it as well as. And these are the black bean and corn quesadillas.
These are so tasty.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't believe, because I mean, a quesadilla is a quesadilla, right? They're great and you love having them. But like, if you've had one quesadilla, you've had all the quesadillas, except not so with these.
They're so good. And I knew that they would be good when we first talked about it, because we have the black bean and corn enchiladas, which are on our website, freezermeals101.com. We aren't having them today in this video, but my goodness, if you like that style of food, those are so good, so good. And this is just like that, except they're in quesadilla form. So we're going to mix everything together in a bowl. We're going to have our black beans that have been rinsed and drained, our frozen kernel corn, some diced purple onion, some minced garlic, some chopped cilantro, some shredded Tex-Mex cheese, a bit of taco seasoning, and that's it. We're going to mix it around in our bowl and then spread it on half of your tortilla. See, we bought the Costco pack of tortillas, so now we can keep using our tortillas so they don't get wasted. Do you know what I mean? And then we're going to fold them in half, and we like to freeze them individually on a baking sheet in your freezer. Make sure that they're fully frozen, and then transfer them to a freezer bag. The reason why is if they are remotely not frozen, they will stick together and you will be cursing us, and we don't want that. So the other option is to put some parchment paper in between, but we really just like to get them good and frozen, and then it doesn't matter. They're in your bag, use them. And same thing as what Charla said with the buffalo chicken quesadillas. You can do these on the skillet or in the air fryer, but for a crowd, you're gonna wanna do them in the oven, and it's perfect.
I'm laughing because there is a cat walking behind us, and Christy didn't notice yet. So
I saw her get up over there, but I didn't see her, you know. Oh, you poor thing.
Now, these shredded beef nachos, I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't want to say, like, you have to serve these at your game day, but you have to serve these at your game day. Like, the flavors are unreal. Nachos are just a game day staple. And nachos are a party staple. They're just the ultimate.
They really are. And you know, if you're having the quesadillas anyway, you already have the toppings. You already have the sour cream and the guacamole and your chopped up tomatoes and your chopped up onions. And so you're gonna have all of that stuff ready anyway. You might as well make the nachos.
And one of the things I love to do for a party, so much so that people are probably like, okay, get a new idea, is I love to have like a make your own nachos bar. I give people their own plates, so they have like a pie plate. I just buy a big bag of pie plates and then they can make their nachos. I have several options for the type of tortilla chips, and then I've got quite a few cheese options, and then there's the jalapenos and the red pepper and the black bean and corn and your like what else, onions, and like I've got the
and your cilantro, and then your sauces.
Yes.
She has every kind of hot sauce under the sun in her fridge, so she can just pull it out and have a party any day of the week. Your jalapenos, oh yeah, you said that.
And so I love to offer all the toppings, and then people can make it, because some people aren't big on spice, so then they might not want to put the serrano peppers or the jalapeno peppers, and other people might want to load that right up. And some of my kids like black olives and some do not. So there's all kinds of things that you might or might not want on your nachos. But I love to offer at least one, usually multiple protein options for the nachos. So sometimes I just do some ground chicken with some taco seasoning, and that's really nice to sprinkle on there. Or you can do taco meat. We've got a lot of shredded chicken type taco meats that are in the Freezer Meals 101 Club that you like are amazing on nachos, like our zippy shredded chicken.
I was just
nachos,
thinking that.
like,
and even the chicken tinga.
Yes.
Really nice heat to it, great flavor, shreds up so nice, awesome on nachos.
or quesadillas.
Or quesadillas.
Yes.
The sky is the limit.
Yes.
You know, you can take Taco Tuesday to the next level.
But if you want to like really wow people, you cannot go wrong with this shredded beef nacho topping. All you're gonna do to make this ahead is in your freezer bag, you're gonna have your beef roast. You're gonna add in some taco seasoning, salsa, and beef broth. Seriously, just those 4 ingredients. You're gonna get as much air as you can out of there. You're gonna seal it, freeze it. This just goes in the slow cooker. So as you're getting those other party foods ready or setting out your nacho station, make your own nacho station, you can have this cooking up in the slow cooker, and then all you do is shred it. It shreds up really easily, and then you can have it to serve. Either you can make an entire tray of nachos for everybody to pick at, or you can, you know, do what I do and have everybody make their own. This is making me like want to throw.
Now we have to have a Super Bowl party.
Just so that I can do a nacho bar.
I think it's true. I would come to your Super Bowl party just to eat your nachos. The funny part is, I'm not. Would you watch this movie? Would you watch the game?
No, but if it was a playoff hockey game, I would watch.
Totally.
If it was, I like football. I just don't follow it anymore, so I don't really know any of the teams, and
Okay. If you are not a football follower, but you have heard of the Kansas City Chiefs, okay, as the filming of this, there's 4 teams left, so it's Philly and Washington, and then it'll be Buffalo and Kansas City. So the Kansas City Chiefs have Travis Kelce, who is Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Right.
Do you remember last year at the Super Bowl, it was like such a huge deal because she was at the game, and like half of the commentary seemed to be about Taylor Swift, which was kind of awesome, to be honest. I'm not a huge Swiftie or anything, but like, good on her. I just love her.
And here in Canada, we actually have the Grey Cup, not the Super Bowl, because we have the CFL, not the NFL, so it's like the Canadian Football League. And interestingly enough, there's actually like a lot, I don't want to say the majority because I could be wrong, but a lot of the players are actually American.
Oh, a lot of the players are American.
And
sure.
so it's really interesting because they come up and they play in the CFL, which has slightly different rules. So
It's slightly different rules, but more importantly, our balls are bigger, and so are our fields. a little bit. We have an extra 10 yards for one thing, and yeah, the balls are a little bit bigger. Our Grey Cup is what we call it. It's not the Super Bowl. Our Grey Cup was in November, so it's already done. Because seriously, it's Canada.
It's cold.
There's this much snow on our football fields right now, so nobody's doing that. And the Toronto Argonauts won, and I was just so happy for Toronto that they have some sort of professional sports team that can win something. That's not a dig at the Leafs at all. Yeah, it kind of was. So you know what? When I was a kid, I was into New Kids on the Block, and I know you were too.
No.
You were not?
No.
You went to a New Kids concert?
Definitely no. Everyone in my class went. I did not go.
I grew up north of here like 5 hours, so my mom was not going to drive me to Edmonton for a New Kids on the Block concert, so I didn't get to go. You weren't a New Kid fan? Okay, I was. Me and my friends were like obsessed to the level of like how Swifties are now. And do you know what? Swifties will watch the Super Bowl to get a glimpse of her.
Right.
And like she might do something interesting. She might do, I don't know what. But I would have been like that when I was a kid. If something was happening and I might get a chance to see Jordan Knight, like the side of his face at the Grey Cup or whatever, I totally would have watched that even if I never ever watched football a day in my life. So if you are having a Taylor Swift party for Super Bowl, you can do these too. You know, when you go to Costco and you're buying your giant thing of sliders, I don't know if you've ever wandered down the frozen foods aisle and thought, oh, that looks amazing. I want you to stop at the meatball section and get the giant pack of meatballs.
It's giant.
It's giant, but we're going to give you some really great recipes to do with those meatballs. You can do all of them, or you can do one of them. You can do none of them, but you're really going to want to do all of them because they are so good.
Purposely chosen the amount of recipes where you could use the entire bag if you made one of each of these recipes.
And it doesn't mean you have to serve them all at your party. It's nice to just have them there in your closet. I was going to say, it's just nice to have them there in your freezer because they would also make nice lunches or nice dinners. But man, it is really great to have it at your party. I have a 3-section slow cooker that I got with my Save on Foods points years and years ago. And I put my buffalo chicken dip in one and the meatballs in one, and usually like the spinach dip in another or some other sort of hot dip. So we have other hot dips coming, don't worry. We'll have a way for you to fill your third crock pot. And that is always a hit. Just to have, like, you have a taco bar or a nacho station. I have a slow cooker station. You think we entertain a lot? I think we kind of do.
We do, and like I kind of got away from it for a few years there,
yeah.
And now I'm starting to get back into it, and it's one of those things where like it's so nice to do, and afterwards there's leftovers the next day, so you don't really have to do any work the next day because you're just picking away at the leftovers, and your family can pick away at the leftovers. And you kind of got your cup filled because you got to see people that you like, and it's just nice and social. And even though I'm an introvert, I like people like a lot. So
totally. Yeah. And if you aren't somebody that normally hosts, because it does seem a little bit overwhelming, and it can be, you could have 3 people and still have a Super Bowl party. You totally can. And then
and just tell them not to eat first because
you're going to make a lot of food.
You're going to have those meatballs that alone are really nice and filling. And if you do have any leftovers, you could serve them over rice as your dinner the next day. Nothing is stopping you.
Nothing at all. So here is the first meatball recipe. These are Mississippi meatballs. Into our large freezer bag, we're going to add our frozen meatballs from Costco. We're going to add in 2 teaspoons of Italian dressing mix, like the salad dressing mix that you get in the packet. We're going to add a packet of dry ranch seasoning and a packet of the au jus gravy mix. And then a big old ½ cup of unsalted butter. And then those pepperoncini peppers, we take the stems off of them and then we just add them in whole. And you know, you want to get a little bit of the juice in there too. So just a little bit of that. And then that is it. You're going to mix it around right in your bag. Don't worry about making sure that your butter is super incorporated because you're just going to heat these up. It's going to melt. It'll be fine. Get your excess air out and freeze them. When you go to cook them, like I said, great in the slow cooker. You could do these on the stovetop or in the oven, but I think they are like perfect. They're built for the slow cooker.
Absolutely.
And you definitely want to give them a couple of hours on low to let those flavors meld. I promise you, you just about can't overcook these meatballs. meatballs.
This next meatball one is so perfect if your game day party is during the day versus like an evening watch party, because this can be the lunch. This is our Meatball Subs. Such a crowd pleaser, and these are gonna go great at your party. What you're gonna do is you're gonna buy from Costco, because you were there buying your meatballs anyway, you're gonna buy the 2-pack of baguettes. You're going to take each baguette and cut it in thirds and then slice those in half. Then you're gonna spread some garlic butter on the inside of all of what you've now created to be sub buns, and you're gonna close them up and put them into your freezer bags, get your air out, and you can get those in your freezer so that they're ready for your meatball subs. Then in another large freezer bag, you're gonna put your meatballs, some garlic, Italian seasoning, and some pasta sauce or red sauce. Then you're gonna put some shredded mozzarella cheese into a medium, that's a quart-size freezer bag. You're gonna seal that, and then you're gonna staple the 2 bags together that have your cheese and meatballs in them. When you go to make this for your party, you're gonna let everything thaw. You're gonna put the large bag contents with the meatballs into your slow cooker. You're just gonna allow those to cook. They just need a few hours. And then when you're ready to serve this, you're gonna take your baguettes, you're gonna open them up, put them on a baking sheet, get them in the oven under the broiler just till they're toasted up. Then you're gonna top one side of those with those meatballs, sprinkle it with the cheese that you've got in your smaller bag, and put those back in the oven under the broiler so the cheese melts. You've already got the meatballs cooked up. You can top those with the other half of the baguette, and you've got delicious meatball subs.
These barbecue beer meatballs are totally party ready. It's even in the name, like they might as well say the party starts here, which is totally weird, but you know, as soon as you put beer in something, it's a party, right?
And barbecue.
And barbecue, like hello.
Tailgate, game day, like all the things.
Completely. So super simple to make. Into our bag, we're going to add our meatballs. We're going to add in some barbecue sauce, whatever flavor you like. Your favorite is the best. And we're going to add in some beer and a jalapeno that has been thinly sliced. These have some heat to them. If you don't want them so spicy, take the seeds out before you slice them, but we like to just slice them and put them in just like that. Then you're going to get that excess air out, seal it up and freeze it. When you go to cook this, allow it to thaw, throw it in your slow cooker. Again, you're gonna give it that time for the flavors to meld, a couple of hours should do, and serve. Just put a spoon in there, or you can be fancy and put toothpicks out. This is a really great appetizer or a really great meal, whatever you want. Man, are these good.
Since you went to Costco, I feel like this is like a Costco commercial.
This is a Costco commercial.
But since you went to Costco and you bought the giant pack of tortillas to make your quesadillas with, you might as well make some taquitos too.
Because you know you have some left over, because that is a never-ending pack.
It is. So for these chicken jalapeno popper taquitos, in a bowl, you're gonna mix together some chicken that is cooked and shredded. Then you're gonna add some cream cheese, cheddar cheese, cooked and crumbled bacon, some diced jalapeno peppers, and a little bit of salt. Once that is good and mixed together, you're gonna put that mixture down onto your flour tortillas and roll those tightly, and you wanna put those on a cookie sheet seam side down. This is just like the quesadillas in that we're gonna get these into the freezer on the baking sheet so that they freeze. Once they're fully frozen, we'll transfer them into a freezer bag. When you go to make this, you can take out as few or as many as you want, because you're just going to place them down on a parchment paper lined cookie sheet and get them in your oven. You do want to spray them with some cooking oil first. These cook up super fast, and yes, great for a party, like impressive, and you can serve them with some salsa or some guacamole. But I also love to have these just for lunch when it's just me at home, like I work from home, and this is such a great, and it feels like an indulgent lunch.
It is, yes. I feel the same way, and I have an air fryer at my house, so you can cook these from frozen. You can in the oven, you can in the air fryer, and it is really nice, and the oil just
crisps them right up, right? Man, they're really, really good. And they don't leak out the ends. Like,
Yes.
it's just a nice dish, and your friends will love it.
And since you were like craving those flavors, you have those things out anyway, you bought the ingredients, you prepped the ingredients, you might as well also make a chicken jalapeno popper dip. It just pairs beautifully with your chicken jalapeno popper taquitos, or if you don't want there to be too much repetition, you serve the dip at one game day party, and then the next game day party you serve the taquitos. Here in Canada, hockey's kind of a big deal.
Hockey's a big deal here.
And last year, our local team, which was the Edmonton Oilers, which is what I'm wearing today, they made it to the playoffs. And
Not only to the playoffs, they made it to the final.
yes.
Yes.
And the playoffs are never ending.
This was in June for a winter sport, right?
Right. To make it to the playoff finals is a big deal. And our entire, my kids,
Our whole city
went to outdoor watch parties, and they everybody was wearing the colors all the time. There's flags on the trucks and the cars, and you go into a restaurant and there's banners everywhere. It was just fun.
And you couldn't talk to somebody without bringing up the Oilers. It is the best, and it's so good for the city.
It was everybody's in a better mood.
I have goosebumps. I loved it so much. It was just the best.
It's fantastic. And I'm not even that huge into hockey, but I was I dressed our little guy in Oilers clothes, and it was just on game days. It was super fun. And there's that feeling of connectedness and community that you get when everybody's rooting for the same team, and everyone, it's just, I love it.
I love it. Yes.
And so if you are in Canada and your team makes it to the playoffs, then it's totally conceivable that a few times a week you would be hosting a small watch party.
I don't know how many games I watched with other people, whether it was family or friends, or we would go to a restaurant or bar to watch, or, my husband and my kids are not super into hockey, so sometimes it was just me at home alone with my radio, and that's okay. Or I would sit and watch the game, but I would be texting with my brothers because we have a group chat. And I grew up in a hockey family where both my brothers always played. My dad coached. My brothers both went they played all kinds of sports. They played football, they played baseball, they played everything. But hockey has been king in our family forever. So, and now the players that we saw as we were kids in the 80s, a lot of them are coaches now. I was looking, Edmonton played Vancouver the other day, and there was a kerfuffle, and McDavid got suspended for 3 games, and the Vancouver coach, I'm like, oh, Rick Tocchet. I remember him. I didn't know he was coaching. That's nice. And so you have to keep up on everything, but it is nice to get swept up in the pandemonium of it.
Yeah, and I know that in the States, my friends who are American, college football is such a big deal. It is huge. And whatever college that you went to, or whatever college is in your area, that is who you are rooting for. And those are the things where you're gonna host a thing on Sunday afternoon or whatever. I think that's when it is. I'm not American, so don't attack me in the comments if I got that wrong.
Well, Super Bowl, it will be on a Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you might host really often, and that's why having multiple
things
recipes in your freezer is gonna help you out. And then also you could assemble a whole bunch of these in one afternoon, and then over the next few months everybody will be like, wow,
so-and-so has really got it together.
Mark and Bill have the best recipes. Oh my goodness, their appetizer repertoire is never ending, right? And they won't realize
that's because they have an inside secret, and it's us.
Right. So, to that end, you're gonna have this chicken jalapeno popper dip in your freezer ready to go, and you can do it like the buffalo chicken dip, or you can have it made in the trays. Or you can have it in bags and transfer it into a casserole dish, a baking dish, any kind of thing on the day of. So in a bowl, you're gonna mix together some softened cream cheese, sour cream, cooked and crumbled bacon, which is easy because you've already made it for the last recipe, some shredded jalapeno jack cheese, some cooked shredded chicken, some diced jalapeno peppers, and some minced garlic. We just like to use our garlic from a jar. And then once you've got that all mixed together, you can place it into your freezer bag, or you can place it directly into an oven safe dish or a foil tray. You're gonna get that covered if it's in the tray and sealed if it's in the bag, and get it into your freezer. When you make this, you thaw it, just transfer it to a baking dish or put your foil tray in the oven, and you can sprinkle it with some sliced green onions if you want. Serve it with tortilla chips or raw veggies, and it's so like homey, and it's just a good one.
This chicken bacon ranch dip has bacon in the recipe as well.
And the chicken.
And so, you know, when you are making multiple meals like this, it can be a lot of work to go through all of the recipes, write down all of your ingredients that you need, put little tick marks for how many onions you need and how many pounds of chicken you need and how many pounds of bacon or slices of bacon you're going to need. You're like, how can I do all of these without a ton of work? Well, I can tell you how you can do it because we do it all the time. You can use something like the Freezer Meals 101 Club, where we have over 400 recipes, which includes everything that you're seeing here today. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get these on Freezer Meals 101. You can print all of these off, and you can sit with your tick marks, and you can tally everything up that you need to make your shopping list, and you can do your prep list, and you can make all of these meals. You can probably do it in an afternoon or maybe 2. But if you are a member of the Freezer Meals 101 Club, you can make a meal plan with all of these recipes in it.
Call it your game day meal plan.
You could call it your game day meal plan. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to print off a shopping list where everything is already tallied for you. It's going to give you a prep list where you can where you know how many pounds of chicken you have to cook up ahead or how many pounds of bacon you have to do up ahead. And then, do you know what we really, really love? And you've seen them in these videos? The printable labels, because it has the cooking instructions on it and it has a date on it. So you know how long that has actually been sitting in your freezer, and you're like, oh, we better eat up these taquitos. And so, you know, it does make it so much simpler for you, and you can do your shopping and prep one day, and the next day you can just absolutely assemble the heck out of these and get them in your freezer. And then Jimmy and Sarah are really going to be like, what is going on at their house? How do they do that? In fact, if you do this and you start to do this, you're going to tell everybody in your life that you do this. You can't help yourself, because it is actually kind of life-changing. And it's not just game day. We have everything. We have soups, we have chilies. It's so much more than that.
We have fancy food.
We have fancy
restaurant
food.
quality.
Absolutely.
Breakfast, lunches, dinners.
Sides. We even have salads. Like freezer salads, go figure. But they really do exist, and they really do taste good, or we wouldn't eat them. So please check out a link below and check out the Freezer Meals 101 Club. You really should consider doing something like that when you want to do big batch cooking and mean it. So because we have printed off our shopping list and our prep list, and we know how much chicken and bacon that we need to plan ahead and have, we already have it sitting here, so we can just assemble this chicken bacon ranch dip. We're going to start out in a bowl with our softened cream cheese, some shredded cheddar, our chicken breasts that have been cooked and shredded. We're going to add in some sour cream, chicken broth, dry ranch seasoning. We're going to add in our cooked and crumbled bacon and sliced green onion. We're going to mix this around in the bowl, and then we're going to transfer it either into a foil baking tray or into a freezer bag and get it into the freezer. This is one you want to throw in the oven at 400, get it nice and hot and bubbly. And we like to serve this one with like carrots and celery. Well, Charlotte doesn't eat the celery, but it's a nice one to have with the vegetables because of the ranch, right? So you get the best of both worlds, where you get the flavors of the chicken and the bacon and the ranch and the decadence of it, but you're having it with carrots. And so you feel so much better about like eating the whole pile. Because you just ate a lot of carrots to get that in you, right?
Now, what would a game day party be without chicken wings?
Absolutely.
The first wing recipe we're going to share with you is our crispy chicken wings. Now, if you wanted to give all of our wings a try, maybe you could have like a best wing contest, a wing off, or whatever.
You could have a wing off. What a way to add an extra part of fun to your party. I love it.
So if you wanted to make a whole bunch, make multiples of these recipes, then you might want to head to Costco. Again, this is not a Costco commercial, but you know, it's easier to get things all in one place. So then you could get multiple trays of your chicken wings and just make a whole bunch of this, do your batch cooking like that. For this, you're gonna add your chicken wings into a large freezer bag, and then you're gonna add in some olive oil, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, salt, and pepper. You're gonna shake that in the bag to coat those wings, and then get your air out, seal it, and freeze it. When you go to make this, you can thaw it and then cook it on a baking sheet in the oven, or these ones also work in the air fryer.
If you really want to spice up your chicken wings and serve something that maybe you don't see at every game day party, you want to try these Korean chicken wings.
I kind of think these would win the wing contest.
These would win the wing contest. They really, really, really would, because the flavor in these is insane. Nobody is going to believe that this came out of your freezer, I will tell you that much. Into our bag, we are going to add our chicken wings. We're going to sprinkle in some baking powder on top. We're going to add in a bit of brown sugar, some ground ginger, some garlic powder, and a bit of salt and pepper. Mix that around in your bag so everything is evenly coated all over your wings. And then in a bowl, you're going to mix together some soy sauce, a bit of water, some gochujang paste. Now you're going to find this in the international foods section of your grocery store, or if you have like an Asian market near you, go in there and you go and find it. This is game changer stuff. This is what we're talking about. You're going to add in to the bowl a bit of honey, some brown sugar, a bit of butter, and some sesame oil, and some rice wine or sake. You're going to mix that together, and then you're going to put that glaze into a medium-sized, quart-sized freezer bag, seal up those bags and staple them together so they stay together. Now, I will tell you something that happened to us the first time we made these, because I just have told you, you have to get all the air out of the bag. And so I had made the first one and I was working on the second one, and my bag was sitting over here and it was puffing, like there was air in it. And I'm like, I took all the air out of that bag, didn't I? And so I took the air out. I finished up the other wings and there was air in the bag. And I'm like, what is going on here? Is there a hole in the bag? What is going on? It's the baking powder. It's the baking powder.
Activating.
There's enough moisture in the chicken that it was activating the baking powder, causing a bit of gassing off in the bag. Now, it doesn't hurt anything. They still crisped up beautifully. You could try dry your chicken a little bit better so it doesn't happen, or just make it and get it in the freezer and then forget about it and put something heavy on it.
The truth is, once it gets in your freezer, like that stops, because when it gets cold enough, that process completely stops.
It does stop, so it's fine.
It's not like you're gonna blow your bag.
I'm just warning you ahead of time, because it was something that really caught us off guard. We really only have baking powder in our baking.
And she was like, Charlotte, I'm not imagining this.
I'm not imagining this. Like I sealed that shut, and it was funny. So I'm just forewarning you, don't be weirded out by the magic chicken wings. And so when you go to cook this, I promise they do crisp up. We're gonna just do this on a baking sheet in the oven, and you're going to flip it over, and you're gonna then broil them a little bit so that they can crisp up really nicely. I promise the baking soda will do its job. And then while you're cooking your chicken, you wanna take the glaze, put it in a small pot on the stove, bring it to like a small boil and let it simmer for a few minutes. Take some of that out, like reserve it. That's gonna be your dipping sauce, and then the rest of it, you're gonna drizzle and glaze your chicken when it's done. So you have this awesome, awesome glaze on the chicken.
These are like sticky goodness.
Oh my goodness, and you're like, you want to definitely hand out wet napkins, like you would get at a rib house. And I would double this one. Because they are gonna go. Now, what kind of video would this be without some sweet and sour chicken wings? And these are not your ordinary sweet and sour chicken wings. They are delicious, and they would hold their own in that chicken wing contest that you're imaginarily having with us. For this recipe, we're gonna start out with our chicken wings in the bag, and then in a bowl, we're gonna mix together some flour and water. Then we're going to add in some brown sugar, some vinegar, some soy sauce, and a little bit of ketchup. Mix that up, and then pour that over your chicken wings, get it nice and coated in the bag, and seal it up and freeze it. When you go to cook this, you can do this in your oven on a baking sheet, or you can do these in the slow cooker, because maybe that third spot on your slow cooker bank is empty. You can do this in the slow cooker, and then when they're done, they're really nice to just take out and throw under the broiler, and they are super tender, like falling off the bone, but they're still crunchy and crispy because of the broiling. This is a beautiful sweet and sour chicken wing recipe.
Now, what would a sports event or watching party or game day party or tailgating, or what would that be without chili?
Absolutely.
Like, we just needed to include our famous chili recipe for you because there's something so welcoming about having chili available to people when they come to your home, and like the smells fill the house and it's like warm and homey. And hey, if you had to go to a game, you could bring some chili with you, or for that tailgate party, it's just perfect for like a crisp day.
Oh yeah.
So, into your large freezer bag, you're going to add some browned and cooled ground beef, diced onion, minced garlic, kidney beans, some chili style beans, diced tomatoes, tomato paste, chili powder, cumin, paprika, pepper, and a little splash of maple syrup. Then you're going to get this all mixed together right there in your bag. Get your air out and get it in your freezer. This one, you can cook it in your slow cooker. You can cook it on the stovetop. So I know I said that this is like our famous chili recipe, and everybody thinks their chili recipe is the best. Ours is really the best, but I know everybody has their own opinions about chili, and some people are like no beans and yes beans, and there's all kinds of things.
Texas has entered the chat.
Right? But I just have to tell you that one of our club members named Robin made this chili, and her neighbors tried it, and they encouraged her to enter it into a chili contest. So she has not had the opportunity to do that yet, but she's gonna call it North of the Border chili, since we are up north in Canada and she is down in, I think, Arizona.
She's in Arizona.
And so we're excited to see how it does, because our chili has never, we keep hearing that this is the best chili I've ever tried, yours is the best, like all that kind of stuff.
And here's what's funny, like I grew up, my chili is totally different. I love my chili, but over the years, I've just been eating Charla's because we do these mega sessions. We do, like when we make freezer meals together, we make her chili. And I will every once in a while, probably twice a year, text her and say, I'm having your chili, and I know you know this, but I just need to tell you, your chili really is good. It is really the best chili ever.
And that's like every time I serve it, that's what I hear. And so it was really exciting to be like, oh my goodness, our chili's gonna be in a contest. Because here where we live, chili cook-offs aren't so much a thing.
I have been in 2 chili cook-offs.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, it started out as a pig roast, and then it became a chili contest, and now they do an amazing race.
Oh, right. With
Yeah.
your friend group.
Well, it isn't with them. It was,
Oh.
no, it was my other friend, my Saskatoon friend, and her parents. They always have a big party, and so now she plans an amazing race for them every year. If you don't have a friend group somewhere in your life that plans an amazing race, you need to plan one and do it with your friends over a weekend. Everybody brings their trailers, and you just, whoever has the farm or the acreage.
Sliders and the chili would be perfect for that.
Yes. And then we make mojitos by the jug, and then it's just a whole thing. It's so good. So fun.
But
make the chili.
make the chili. Definitely for your game day party, chili is like, and then you don't have to eat dinner. Like,
no.
you're set.
And if you're buying a bottle of maple syrup, which is kind of pricey, just to make the chili, I really think you should join the club, because you could go in the club and search by ingredient, and you could search maple syrup, and everything that we have maple syrup in, we're Canadian, it's a lot. You would be able to use up that bottle of maple syrup, and then I even feel remotely bad that you spent like $12 on a bottle this big. And it's worth it. It is so worth it.
And I don't know if you can get them at your Costco, but at our Costco you can buy the maple syrup.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like we get the maple syrup. They just tap at the tree in Ontario or Quebec, and they just like make it just go directly into Costco. That's how they do it. One tree, all of the Costcos in Canada. I'm sure that's how they do it. I'm very silly today. I'm sorry, but it's a silly day. We're excited about the party.
We have set you up with so many game day recipes. I lost count. I don't
even know how many they are. It'll be in the title probably because she'll have a chance to go back and count them. But it was a lot.
There's a lot of variety here. There's a lot of options. If you are somebody that doesn't like chicken wings, there's a lot of other options.
Do the meatballs instead, you know?
If you're not a fan of meatballs, do the dips. If you're not a fan of dips, do the taquitos. Like, it's never ending. So we hope that we have set you up really, really well to impress your guests at your next game day party. These can all be made now. Make them tomorrow because you're gonna need to get your groceries today. And then they are just sitting there in your freezer, just waiting for you to take them out and cook them and serve them. That is their like purpose in life.
That's their purpose in life. And maybe your purpose in life will be hosting game day parties. Who knows? But we wish you all the best, and good luck on whoever ends up at the final for the Super Bowl.
Happy cooking.
Bye.